hút cái này thì đúng là tăng rồi.
Yes, thank you. We, the ones that are alive and living witnesses of the Vietnam War and its aftermath, must speak up for the truth about the necessity of standing up against communism and dictatorial regime to protect the freedom and democracy that our soldiers have died and fought for in Vietnam. We, the ones that are alive and living witnesses of the Vietnam War, must continue to fight for justice, freedom, and human rights for the people of Vietnam today, so that the sacrifices and the death of our heroic soldiers are not in vain. It is our obligation and duty to do so. Failing to do it is to fail and dishonor those who have fought and died for our freedom today. There is no better way to honor our heroes in Vietnam War than by us continuing the heroic efforts of those who have died in protecting the freedom and democracy of the people of Vietnam 50 years ago. 50 years ago, Australian soldiers and the soldiers of the Republic of Vietnam Armed Forces were fighting side by side as comrades in arms in a just and noble mission. That is, to protect the democracy and freedom of the people of South Vietnam, of the country in the region, and for Australia itself. Today, we are here 50 years on, side by side, Australian and Vietnamese Australian veterans and peoples together at this sacred memorial to make sure that the 50th anniversary to commemorate the involvement of our Australian Royal Armed Forces, the AUDFs, in Vietnam War is properly and honorably remembered. Let us always honor their names. Let us always protect their names. Let us never forget what they have died for. Freedom and democracy. And that is the mission they carry out, has not yet accomplished. Vietnam today is not free and democratic. The best and the most appropriate way for each and every one of us to honor our Australian soldiers' death in Vietnam is to accomplish their mission in their memories by campaigning together side by side until Vietnam is truly democratic and free. Long live our heroic Australian soldier who died for freedom and democracy in Vietnam. Long live our heroic Republic of Vietnam soldiers who fought and died side by side with the Australian soldier for freedom and democracy of Vietnam. Long live the freedom and democracy campaigners in Vietnam today. On behalf of the grateful Vietnamese community in Australia, we would like to present a special made commemorative plaque to the National President of the VV, the Vietnam Veteran Association of Australia, Mr. Ron Coxwell, OAM, to express our eternal thanks to the sacrifices that the Australian Armed Forces and veterans had done to protect our freedom in Vietnam. Lest we forget.
Well, we would like to invite Mr. Peter Ryan as well actually to come and also receive this one with Mr. Ron Robson. Thank you. Hello.
Yes, I would like to now read the words that we have expressed on this flag. Australian Vietnam War veterans and families, you have been and will always be our heroic freedom fighters. Thank you. This plaque is made and presented to the Vietnam Veteran Association in Australia, VVAA, on the 50th anniversary of Australians' involvement in fighting for freedom in Vietnam, 1962-2012. By the Vietnamese community in Australia, VCA, and the Federation of Vietnamese Veterans Association in Australia, FVVAA. To express the eternal gratitude and appreciation of the Vietnamese Australian community for the sacrifices of 524 Australian soldiers who died and more than 50,000 Vietnam veterans who fought honorably and bravely for the freedom and democracy for the people of Vietnam. Lest we forget, Canberra on the 28th of April 2012.
We are extremely humbled to be here in front of this crowd today. We talk about the courage of the Australians, but I think you people really show us what courage is all about. You have come to this country and added culture and diversity to what was already a multicultural country, and we appreciate the ethic that you people put into this country. You have adopted this country like your own. We went and fought for yours like it was our own. We appreciate what you now do for us and what you do for this community. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Pete Ryan also want to say a few words.
To all of our gallant Vietnamese people in Australia who still fight in their hearts for their own country, thank you for inviting us here today. It's an enormous, enormous privilege to be here. This plaque should have a home where people who go and look at the Vietnam War history live. This is at the National Vietnam War Memorial Museum at Phillip Island in Victoria. With the permission of the Vietnamese community, we would ask Ron Coxon to take this to the museum in Phillip Island and have it in a place of honour for all to see forever.